GTA Toronto prices have been going down, 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 and January 2026 data is out. And I want to go through the numbers with you so you can see exactly what's happening in the market right now. Hi, my name is Pritesh. I lead a Toronto based real estate team helping buyers and sellers all across the GTA. Today, I'm going to walk you through the numbers that I just went through so we can understand where we sit today and what that might mean to you if you're thinking about buying or selling in this market, or if you're just curious about what's actually happening in the real estate world. So, what I have in front of me is the first page of a report that comes out every single month from the Toronto Real Estate Board. This is accessible by the public, anybody can get access to it, but here it is. Let's take a look at what happened in January 2026. So if we look over here on the right hand side, we have a table that shows us 2025 to 2026 and exactly what's happened and what's changed. So the first thing up here is sales. Sales year over year are down almost 20%. So that means the market is slow right now. A lot of people are hesitating to buy. They're just taking it really slowly. And on the sell side, sellers are hoping to get more money for their property. So they're hanging on to them a little bit longer, trying to, get that better offer. And overall, between buyers and sellers, sales are just not happening as quickly. In terms of how quickly they're happening, there's actually the number over here at the bottom, the period days on market, which is the total number of days on market before a home is actually selling. And right now in January 2026, average days on market is 67, meaning that it's taking 67 days for a home to actually be on market before it sells. Now, that 67 days could be a combination of the same property being listed multiple times. So that is also to be considered. But just year over year, that is up 22%. So even though it was pretty slow a year ago, it's even slower today. So if you are a seller or you're thinking about selling, just know that it might take a little bit of time. This is not listing and then selling it in 1 or 2 days. Of course, that can happen, but that's probably not anticipated. Now, new listings coming to the market in January are less than they were last year, which I think is a somewhat good news story, because if there's just more and more inventory flooding onto the market, that could also just create a supply issue of just too much inventory at the moment for sellers to be able to sell their properties to. So listings are down for the month, and this is the number that we're here to see, the average GTA home price. So the big news story here is that the GTA home price on average has actually dipped below $1 million. So back in we can show you over here. If we go back, let me scroll all the way down. If we go to the last page in this report, we can see over here that the average home price back in 2022 peaked at $1.2 million, almost just under $1.2 million. And now we're at 973,000. So prices have dropped since 2022 about $200,000, or almost 20% if you do the math. So that is a big news story. Prices were going up, 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 and now we have come down again. So if we come back here, we can actually see what is happening in each different segment. So there's a breakdown of house type, as well as the 416 versus 905 area. So, I mean, if we just look at totals over here, we can see that overall, every single segment year over year, whether it's detached, semi, townhouse, and condo apartments, they are all down in average price, which is all contributing to this $973,000 figure over here. If we go dig a little bit deeper, I think the obvious story, and everybody probably knows this by now, is that condos are having the hardest time in the market right now to sell. So over here, we can see that there's almost a 10% decline in price year over year, specifically for condos. And they're down in both the 905 and the 416. So the question is, what does this mean? What does it mean if you're a buyer? What does it mean if you're a seller? Well, let's take the buyer side for a second here. So if you're a buyer, this is good. Prices have been going down, and this is what buyers obviously want to see. So we've been trending down for some time now, and we have hit an average price that is under $1 million now. The ultimate question is, are we at the bottom, or is it going to continue to just go down in price? Of course, everybody wants to wait to catch the bottom. We don't know when that exact bottom is going to be. The only way to know is when prices start to go up again. So I guess technically we haven't hit the exact bottom, or we don't know at this point. But if you're a buyer, know that prices are down from the peak approximately 20%. So you are definitely in a position where you're buying at a lower price today than you were a few years ago. If you're a seller and we take that perspective, what does all of this mean? Well, we saw over here that prices are down, so you have to expect to sell at a lower price. But at the same time, you also have to know that it's going to take longer to sell your property too. The days on market is averaging higher and higher because buyers are just taking their time in this market. Now, that sounds all very general for the average buyer and the average seller. So, what should you actually be doing? In order to understand what makes the most sense for you next, is to actually look at the data for your specific segment in the market, not average numbers like this. This is good for informational purposes. This is, what you see referenced in the news and the media, because these are the public numbers that are general and average. But what's very, very important is to actually dig down into your specific city and your specific segment to understand exactly what's happening for buyers and sellers in that exact segment. So even though this is general information of what's happening to prices, it's not the case in every single segment. So there might be certain pockets that are actually operating differently, and it's very, very important to know that before you make any buying or selling decisions. So if you're interested in learning about that data, or you want some research on where you're living, reach out to our team. We can get you some more specific numbers based on your situation, but always look at the data that applies to your neighborhood and make decisions that make sense for you. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any comments, leave them below, and I will be sure to get back to you.